Hello, Zachary Shade here. I just finished Fear, Trump in the White House by Bob Woodward, his new book. And my final thoughts are here, as I said in the last video. I said that it was like 450 pages in the last video. It's actually closer to 350 due to all the sourcing and the contents and whatnot in the back of the book. So it's about a 10-hour read or so. And anyway, I recommend it. As far as what to expect from the book, I think that the first paragraph of the acknowledgments sums it up perfectly, where he says it's his 19th book with Alice Mayhew, blah blah blah. Alice understood immediately, in the midst of the Trump presidency with all its controversies and investigations, the importance of finding out what Trump actually did as a president in foreign and domestic policy. And I think that's what this book did a great job of. Of course, there's going to be like fun little blurbs to take out of it for the media, but as a whole, this book goes from about August or September of 2016 up until March of 2018, and just follows the Trump administration. So if that's something that you're interested in, then this is enlightening. It's actually kind of refreshing to just have them portrayed as people that do people things rather than just short little blurbs on the media that cause them to be characters of themselves. So yeah, it's just a lot of enlightening things. Anytime something seems like it came totally out of nowhere, like the recent trade wars or anything like that, that's something that Trump has been trying to push through since day one of his presidency. Just people in the White House were holding him back from it, whether it be from just changing the subject or dragging their feet, swiping papers off his desk, whatever. Because obviously a trade war isn't good for the country. But yeah, so as a whole, I recommend definitely reading the book if you're interested at all in any way, to just have like a humanized version of these people and what they actually did as far as policy goes. Honestly, not much, but you also just get an insight into what daily life is like in the White House and why nothing particularly gets done. So that's my thoughts on the book. My opinion, real quick, is that this book was weirdly reassuring that like things are gonna be okay, which sounds kind of crazy, but the entire time I was reading it, I was just picturing Trump as a 10-year-old child, like more and more, how they would react to certain situations. Sometimes you just lie for no reason whatsoever. Everyone's either been in or been part of the situation where one person out of a group of friends is just being a jerk and the other friends don't back them up. They're just like, well, yeah, whatever, dude, you're on your own with this. And that kid's like, what? I thought you were my friend. And, normally the kid learns his lesson and goes, oh, I was being a jerk. And they change, but it's like President Trump has never done that. He doesn't understand when people wouldn't give him loyalty. It's also as if Fred Trump, his father, who he revered as a god, took him aside one day when he was like 9, 10 years old and said to him, like, you never show a sign of weakness, you never admit to anything, you gotta be in control of every situation. And on top of not being very intelligent, just having the inability to say I don't know or I'm wrong is really what a lot of everything stems from. So that's why he can lie about inauguration size, which is absolutely blatantly a lie, and then he can say something that possibly is true, like, I didn't intentionally collude with Russia, which I'm still on the fence about. but it would make sense then to be like, I told you I didn't do it, and like go kind of off the rails and stuff. If you were like a child responding to somebody repeatedly accusing you of something you didn't do, it's just his reactions of blowing up and a lot of the hiring and firing, the impulsive everything, it just makes a lot more sense, and it seems a lot less sinister than a whole conspiracy over we purposely colluded with Vladimir Putin, or Putin has dirt on Trump. I think it was just, I can't say that he didn't commit any crimes whatsoever, as like a bunch of people around him are pleading guilty and going down for at least obstruction of justice and lying to the FBI and stuff. But as far as like a whole dark conspiracy where Trump is a puppet to Russia that's really easy to get swept away in, I don't honestly think he's smart enough. And after reading this book, so again, there we go, reassuring. And just the crazy contradictory stuff that comes out all the time makes sense, because you have everybody in his administration realizing that he's incompetent and trying to go and make policies on their own. So that's why like one statement will come out and then somebody else will be like, we're not doing that. And oh god, it's just completely a nightmare. It's literally like the White House is full of children. That's mostly what I've gotten out of this book. And that's better than being afraid of a leader that's actually actively sabotaging the country for just personal gain or as a foreign agent. And just generally, there was some funny moments here and there, but it really just lent insight into what was going on in the White House and the United States government and why things are happening. It doesn't seem so messy and sudden anymore. So I got peace of mind out of it, I guess. So for that also, I recommend it. So, have you read the book? You haven't read the book, because that's why you're watching my channel. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Or don't. I'm gonna go eat an entire popcorn kernel. And real quick, one last thing that I forgot to bring up. The whole Charlottesville thing, if you were curious as to like why that was crazy, he came out and wouldn't say that Nazis are bad, and then 2 days later he came out and made the one and only presidential speech that he's ever made that it could have been given by any president before him, and it would have been totally normal. And everybody was like, wow, 6 months into his presidency, like, is he finally becoming like a decent and reasonable president? And then less than 24 hours later, he came out and stepped back everything he said and said there were good people on both sides. And I was like, why would he do that? Well, that night on Fox News, some nobody commenter had said that him saying reasonable things about Charlottesville was a sign of weakness, since he didn't stick with what the first thing he said was. So he came out to say, I'm Donald Trump, I march to the beat of my own drum, no one tells me what to do, you know, like a freaking young kid or a teenager would do. Just, that really is the mindset of him all the time. Like, it really explains everything. If you go back and look at it, it's pretty ridiculous. But I thought that was a very important event in our country's history as of late, and the reason why, Nazis still see him as their president. Yeah, anyway, that was one thing that I forgot to mention. Bye.